Just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, inside Dekalb County, lies our next location in our series of 8 abandoned places in the state of Georgia. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit that notifications bell so that you'll be notified whenever we do an upload. If you'd like to purchase any of the Keeping History on Two Wheels products, simply follow the link in the description below. And if you would like to support our channel and help us grow, think about becoming a Patreon. Just follow the link also in the description. Now, let's visit the Atlanta Prison Farm. Sometimes firefighters decide a building just isn't worth it. Such was the case in October of 2009 when the roof caught fire at the Atlanta Prison Farm, a defunct prison said to have been in operation from 1945 to 1995. The firefighters felt that it simply wasn't worth the risk to aggressively try to stop the fire and to let the fire burn itself out, which it eventually did. Such is the fate of the Atlanta Prison Farm, which has been slowly rotting away for the past two and a half decades, and what remains of it now is covered in graffiti and kudzu, the infamous vine that ate the South. The site recently received some new interest as possible location of a 500-acre regional park, but the issue is more complicated than that. The fact that while Atlanta owns the derelict prison, it is actually in another county, who is less gung-ho about the project. In the meantime, the site continues to sit unused, except by urban explorers and occasionally the homeless. The recent fire points to just how precarious the site really is. Visiting the place is now strictly forbidden, as the fire department still uses it as part of a training area for fire. Local businesses have taken to calling the police on people who park there and walk all over, and new security measures include cameras, ground sensors, and a whopping $400 trespassing fine. The old prison farm, also known as the Honor Farm, has a fascinating history. In the midst of the Civil War in 1863, records show that Atlanta's council proposed buying 150 acres of what is now partially the prison property. The council passed this resolution and intended to use the tract as a cemetery, though it never did. The land played a key beginning role in the famous Civil War battle, the Battle of Atlanta. What became the prison farm was along the route of Hardee's March on July 21, 1864. In later years, the portion of the farm on Key Road passed back to the private ownership of two men, James Moore, who owned the land north of Key Road, and the namesake, George Key, who owned the southern part. The Honor Farm began as an experiment, and in 1917, the federal government initially bought the expanse of land in Dekalb County to be used as a prisoner of war camp. It was never put to this use, and for $160,000 in 1918, the Bureau of Prisons and the United States Federal Penitentiary in Atlanta took possession of the 1,248 acres. The tract, located about 8 miles from the main penitentiary, was organized into a farm the next year. The first warden, a man named Pet Fry, transformed the new farm from unkempt property to its use as an honor farm for felons convicted of minor crimes. It is unclear whether Fry's own philosophy influenced the adoption of the honor farm system governing the operations of the prison farm. Nonetheless, the honor farm was so named because there were no guards with firearms or bars or fences to keep the prisoners from fleeing. Officials in charge of the farm were the warden and foremen in the fields, who were agricultural experts rather than prison guards. The original staff also included a veterinarian and a physician. Over the years, the farm became more and more productive. By 1930, the honor farm was working to make the most of its acreage. In that year, a crew of men embarked on an extensive dredging project of former marshland, especially that land near the section of the South River which flowed through the property. The crew completed the project with technical assistance from the road commissioner from Dekalb County, and in 1935, there were 150 prisoners working on the farm. They had cultivated 799 units of the acreage and provided vegetables and milk for not only themselves, but for those of the main penitentiary as well. From here, records become spotty at best, with the last recorded evidence of the prison farm's use as a penitentiary coming in the form of a 1971 health inspection report. It's unclear how much longer the land remained in use, and it was officially closed in 1995. For the past 25 years, despite its wide acreage and scenic views, the prison farm has remained entirely abandoned. The city of Atlanta has maintained ownership of the land since its closure, even though the site now sits within the borders of DeKalb County. Over the years, DeKalb has expressed interest in adopting the prison farm land, but the political stalemate between the two parties has resulted in all 300 acres remaining unused. Originally a housing unit for inmates, the main building has become the most popular target for graffiti artists visiting the prison farm. Over the years, the prison farm has become a popular, if not illegal, dumping site for all manner of refuse, with the most popular being tires that grew into massive piles flanking the entrance and southern side of the main building. 3 years ago, one of these mountains was set aflame, kindling the inferno that took more than 24 hours to extinguish and produced smoke that could be seen from the windows of planes flying into Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Between the closing and the protection efforts of the city of Atlanta, the property was accessible even though considered trespassing. Homeless individuals and drug users frequently made camp there. Graffiti artists used the abandoned buildings as a sort of canvas, displaying abilities worthy of art museums. The future of the prison farm today is unclear. Several groups are vying for the property, the use of which could be anything from a 500-acre green space park to a training facility. Meanwhile, with so much legal red tape and so many different groups vying for control, it's hard to predict what will become of the site in the future, if anything at all. We can only hope that whoever eventually renovates the property does so with the public's best interest at heart and makes an earnest effort to remember what happened on the Atlanta prison farm, one of our city's most overlooked and unsung historic markers. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit that notifications bell so that you'll know whenever we do an upload. If you'd like to purchase any of the Keeping History on Two Wheels products, simply follow the link in the description below. And if you would like to support our channel and help us grow, think about becoming a Patreon. Just follow the link also in the description. Always remember, every trip starts with a step. And that step, well, it starts with you.